The attention economy is not new. It is the old media machine with better tracking. It is the same fight for your eyes, your habits, your nervous system, and your free time. The only real difference is that now the machine fits in your pocket and pretends it is your friend. Back in the 80s and 90s, attention was already being farmed. Saturday morning cartoons were not just cartoons, they were delivery systems. The show pulled you in, the cereal ad locked the memory, and the toy commercial completed the loop. He-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony. A lot of those shows were stories, but they were also catalogs with theme songs. They taught you characters, teams, powers, vehicles, and rivalries. Then the toy aisle finished the job. That was attention engineering. It just had a plastic lunchbox attached to it. MTV did the same thing with music. It did not just play songs. It changed how music was consumed. A band needed a sound, but suddenly it also needed a look, an attitude, a visual identity, a repeatable image. The song had to live in your head, but the video had to live in your eyes. That is the same pattern people talk about now when they discuss personal brands, short-form hooks, and algorithmic identity. It is not new, it is just faster. The old system was built around scarcity. There were only so many channels, magazines, radio stations, and spaces on the shelf at Blockbuster. If something got in front of you, it mattered because there were fewer ways in. You watched what was on because that was what was on. You sat through commercials because the remote was across the room. You absorbed jingles because they repeated every afternoon. You knew slogans for products you never bought. That was not an accident. Repetition works. The modern system did not invent repetition, it automated it. In the 90s, attention started changing shape. Cable expanded the menu, video games got deeper, talk shows got louder, tabloids got meaner, news learned how to become a rolling emotional state instead of a scheduled broadcast. Then the early internet arrived and pretended to be freedom. AOL chat rooms, GeoCities pages, message boards, Napster, LimeWire. The first time you realized the screen did not just send information to you, it could pull you into a place where time disappeared. That was a shift. Television held your attention by making you wait. The internet held your attention by making you search. Then social media held your attention by making you perform. That is the cycle. Wait, search, perform. Each generation thinks its version is the rupture. Gen X remembers the earlier forms because we lived through the handoff. We went from broadcast to cable, from cable to internet, from internet to platforms, from platforms to algorithmic feeds. We watched attention get measured, then we watched it get monetized, then we watched it get personalized. The strange part is that people still talk about distraction like it is a personal failure, as if everyone suddenly lost discipline at the same time, as if millions of people independently became bad at focusing because they lacked character. That is too convenient. When an entire culture gets worse at paying attention, maybe the environment changed. Maybe the casino got smaller, brighter, smarter, and followed everyone home. The slot machine used to stay in Las Vegas or Atlantic City. Now it lives inside the notification badge. It does not need coins. It just needs uncertainty. Maybe someone responded. Maybe something happened. Maybe the next post is the one that explains everything. That is not entertainment anymore. That is behavioral design. But again, Gen X has seen the bones of this machine. We remember cliffhangers before binge watching. We remember sweeps week. We remember very special episodes. We remember the way a magazine cover could make a celebrity scandal feel like a national emergency. We remember Geraldo opening a vault on live television because attention itself had become the product. The vault was almost empty. The ratings were not. That tells you everything. The modern version does not need one big televised stunt. It creates millions of tiny ones. A headline that makes you mad, a clip that starts mid-conflict, a thumbnail face frozen in shock, a feed that learns whether you respond better to fear, nostalgia, outrage, envy, or certainty. The old media machine guessed. The new one tests. That is the difference. In the 90s, a network could only estimate what kept people watching. Today, the platform knows when you paused, when you rewatched, when you hovered, when you almost left. And what pulled you back? It learns your boredom pattern. It learns your anger pattern. It learns the exact emotional temperature where you stop thinking and start reacting. That sounds futuristic. It is also just old media with a microscope. The deeper pattern is not technology. The deeper pattern is extraction. First, companies competed for your time. Then they competed for your identity. Now they compete for your reflexes. They do not only want you to watch, they want you to signal. Choose a side. Join a trend. React before the thought cools down. Turn memory into content. Turn attention into data. Gen X sits in a strange position here because we remember before and after. We remember being unreachable. That alone feels like science fiction now. There was a time when leaving the house meant the world had to wait. No text, no location dot, no read receipt, no expectation that every thought, photo, opinion, meal, and reaction needed to be processed by an invisible audience. You could be bored without documenting it. You could disappear for a few hours without it becoming suspicious. That older world was not perfect. The 80s and 90s had plenty of manipulation, panic, marketing, status games, and manufactured cool. But the machinery had limits. It needed broadcast towers, printing presses, retail shelves, programming schedules, and physical distribution limits mattered. Friction protected people more than we realized. Now the friction is gone. That is why the attention economy feels so exhausting. Every piece of content is connected to a system trying to learn what keeps you available. The phone is not only a screen, it is a remote control pointed back at you. And the weirdest part is that nostalgia has become part of the machine too. VHS filters, 90s fonts, arcade sounds, cassette graphics, mall aesthetics. The system knows that people miss texture, limits, and analog distance. So it packages those feelings as another feed object. Even memory gets optimized. That is why Gen X recognition matters. Not because Gen X is immune. We are not. We scroll too. We get baited too. We lose time too. The difference is that we have older reference points. We can still see the outline of the machine before it became invisible. We remember when the commercial was clearly a commercial. Now it wears the face of a friend, a creator, a headline, a trend, or a joke. Once you notice these patterns, they stop feeling new and start looking familiar. If mapping these cycles helps you see the system more clearly, supporting the channel lets more of these connections keep surfacing. Because the attention economy did not arrive out of nowhere. It just upgraded the old broadcast machine, taught it to listen back, and handed it to everyone.